So here they say the individual masses in kilograms of 25 rugby players are given below. Okay? So if you're given rugby players and then they're 25. Now what you can do is to take this data, which is ungrouped, and then you can put it here on what we call a frequency table to make it a little bit simple. Because that's the job of a table. The job of a table is to take the data, which is large, and make it to be a little bit what? A little bit simple. You know? Now, if you take this data and then you put it here, you are going to be talking about people who are between 60 and 70. Yeah? And then you'll put, okay, the person falls between 60 and 70. What is interesting is this here. 70. People who are weighing 70, we don't include them here because it's not equals to. Can you see that again? But we include them on class number what? Number 2. Are we still together there? Now, what is the advantage of group data? The advantage of group data is that it allows us to work with a large set of data. That's the good news. It will allow us to work, even if it was not 25, it was 1 million, it will allow us to work with that. Because we'll be saying, okay, between 60 and 70, and then we'll just say the frequency. Frequency can be 500 if we're dealing with about 1,000. You see that again? So it simplifies the data to say, okay, we have 60 and 70, we have 500 people, or we can have 1 million people, it doesn't matter. But it makes our job a little bit simple. So what is the disadvantage then? The disadvantage is that you are no longer working with the actual data. You lose the data. Because if I say, for example, people who got between 60 and 70, when I say a person got between 60 and 70, the person can be 60, the person can be 61, okay? The person can be 63, okay? The person can be 64, and so on and so on. So if whenever you're saying between 60 and 70, like you include everyone under the same bracket, so you are losing the actual data, which was something like a person was weighing 60, a person was weighing 64. You see that? Okay? So that one is no longer going to be there anymore. So for grade 10, it was very important for learners to be able to take this and then put it there. So I thought we should start with that. Let's revise that. How do we take the following data and put it on a frequency table? So we're going to use what they call a tag. And then the simplest way to do it was to do something like this. You'll go to 78. And then you say, where do we put 78? It's between 70 and 8. And then you put something like this. It's the first tag. And then you go to 102. Where would you put 102? 100 and 210. You'll put 1 there. 88. 80 to 90. Put another one. 93. 90 to 100. Okay, we put another one there. 81.
Second class.
80 to 90. 90. This is interesting. Where would you put 90? You can't put it to 80 to 90 because 90 is not included. But 90 is so put it to 90. Where would you put 60? Where would you put 60? Where would you put 75? Where would you put 80? Where would you put 90? Where would you put 80? Where would you put 77? Where would you put 81? Where would you put 69? Where would you put 60? 83? 91? 100? 80? 70? 81? 64? 70? Okay, they ask us what was the frequency here. We'll tell them with the frequency here it's going to be 5. So we'll put 5 here. Okay? And then they say for 70 to 80, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there we'll put 7. It's fine. Okay, let's erase this one. Here, what are we going to put?
7.
It's 7. Here it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Ne? Okay, erase this one. We put 4. Ne? And then here, how many do we have? We have 2. Then we're going to put what? Which here we have what? We have 2. Okay, once we do that, we no longer concentrate on the actual data. The actual data is gone. You see that? Okay? Now we've put it on group data. It made our life a little bit simpler. Instead of it being looking like it's big, now it's no longer big again. You have 60 to 70, it's 5. We have 70 to 80, it's what? It's 7. Okay, what is the disadvantage with your group data then? It's that the data is lost. So when we start to calculate here, for example, on number 8, they say, calculate the estimate mean of this data. So you can't calculate the mean, but you can calculate the estimate mean because you can't get the mean. Why you can't get the mean? Actually, you're no longer working with the actual data. You can more or less estimate what is going to be the mean. Are we together then? Now, how do you estimate the mean then? Now, for us to work with group data, this is what we're going to do. We're going to say that the data is concentrated at the center. So any person who is between 60 and 70, we're going to say they're at the middle. What is the middle here? The method is you saying something like this. You are going to say 60 plus 70. You divide by what? By 2. And then what you get? 65. Yeah. So your data is going to be concentrated in the what? In the middle. Yeah. You say 70 plus 80 divided by 2, you get what? 75. This one plus this one divided by 2, you get what? 85. This one plus this one, 95. This one and this one, 105. So what is the problem with group data? Group data, it says any person who's between 60 and 70, we assume which they weigh what? 65. So what does this mean of this frequency? It means which this thing here, you are supposed to have 65, 65, 65, 65, 65. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get it, okay? And then after that, what are you supposed to have? 75, okay? You are supposed to have 75 how many times? So it's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's 5, it's 6, and then it's 7 again. And then after that, you have what? 85. Yeah, and then you have 85. 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 And then you have what? 85. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you have another what? 85. After that, what do you have? You have what? You have 95, 95, 95, and then you also have what? 95. And then after that, you have what? 105, 105. So basically, when you take this data and then you put it on group data, that's what you were doing. If you put it on a frequency, you do away with this, you come up with your own new data now. So every person who is here, they got 65. That's the assumption. Ne? Now, if you're supposed to get the mean, how will you get the mean? Again, you are going to say this one plus this one plus this one plus this one plus this one. And then let's do it without a calculator first. We'll say number A. On number A, we're going to tell them the mean can be given by, look at the following. Again, 65. How many times does 65 repeat itself? So I can say 65 multiplied by 5, like this. Plus, I can say 75 multiplied by what? By 7. Plus, I can say 85 multiplied by 7. Plus, 95 multiplied by 4. Plus, 105 multiplied by 2. And then I'm going to check which, how many values do I have? How do I know how many values do I have? I check the frequency. This one plus this one plus this one plus this one plus this one. If I add all those, they are going to give me what? 25. And then I'm going to divide by what? By 25. We're reminding each other. We did these things last year. Okay, let's go on then. So if we are here, we'll come and say, okay, how is this thing going to look like? First, if you are using a calculator, you clear it again. Let's clear our calculator, press 3 equals 2. And then you put in this data. Then. You're going to put in this data. What are you going to have? You're going to have 65 again, multiplied by 5. Close bracket, plus 75 again, multiplied by what? By 7. Close bracket, plus 85, multiplied by 7. Close bracket, plus 95, 95, or open bracket, it's 95 multiplied by 4. Close bracket again. Plus the last one, it's 105 multiplied by 2. Close bracket. This is all these things all over what? 25. And then if you do that, this is what you get again. You get 81,1,4. Wow. So this is how we get the mean for group data. You hear me again? This is for what? For group data. Now, we're in statistics. If we're in statistics, we can always use our calculators again. Let's say I wanted to get the mean, but I wanted to use my calculator. How would I do that? Check out your calculator again now. Let's show you how to get exactly the same results using your calculator. We have our calculators. Okay, when we go to your calculator, go to mode F. Go to mode. If you go to mode, guys, yes, this thing of a calculator, think of it this way. If you put your calculator in a mode, it's like you're putting your calculator in a certain application. For example, I can put my phone on WhatsApp. It's an application. Okay? So this calculator, it has many applications. So if you go to mode, mode gives you the different applications that you have. Does that make sense? Okay. No, you are not. You are going to mode. When you go to mode, you are putting your calculator in different applications. So what kind of applications do you have there? You have an application of comp, you have an application of complex, you have an application of stats. Again, you have all these different applications here. You can even go downwards. If you go downwards, and then it also gives you what we call inequalities. If you're using this calculator, especially the calculator that has ZA, the gray one which has ZA, ZA plus. If you are using the ZA plus, these are all different applications that you have. So which application do we want to use, Tina? We want to use application number 3, which is statistics. You press 3. Okay. Yes. According to my calculator, is 3. Yes. I press according to my calculator. And then after that, I'm going to press 1 minus bar. Yeah, which is option number 1. Option number 1. Okay. Press option number 1. Okay, from here onwards, it says X again. Okay, calculator, check what you want to put when what you want to put is this thing here. It has X and then it also has what frequency. Now, as soon as you put your calculator, the calculator is in a statistic mode. You are in a WhatsApp application. Okay? Once you're in the WhatsApp application, you can go to settings on your WhatsApp. WhatsApp has its own settings. Okay? So we're going to go to settings, man. We are going to go to settings, and then when we go to settings, we press shift and then we press setup. Setup is settings. Setup, settings. You don't go to mode. You go to press shift. If you press mode without pressing shift first, it's going to take you to the mode. You don't want the mode. When I want you want the setup. So what does this pattern have? This pattern it has 2 things on it. It has the mode. It also has the what then? The setup. If you press it without pressing shift, you go to the mode. If you press shift, you no longer go to the mode anymore, but it takes you to what to setup. Okay, you are in the setup, man. These are the different setups that you have on your calculator. And then you can go down. The one that we are looking for, Tina, it's the one with stats. Okay. According to my calculator, it's 4. According to yours, it's 4 again. It's 3. Press 3. Good for you. I'm pressing 4. We're not fighting. Yes. I'm pressing 4. Okay, sharp. From here onwards, I am going to tell them I want the frequency to be on, and then I'm going to press 1. You see now, what does it have? It has X, and then it also has what? Frequency. It has X, and then it also has what? The frequency. So what do I put for the X values? For the X values, I'm going to put 65. I'm going to put 65. And how many times does it appear? It appears 5 times again. Now we can't put 60, we can't put 70, but we put the middle because we say on group data, the data is going to be concentrated at the what? At the set. In the middle. You get that again. So what are we going to have here? We're going to have 65 equals 2. Okay. And then after that, you say 70 equals 75. Man. Go to 75 equals. By the way, that's how you put in a data. And you press equals to say what you're putting in this data. 85 equals 2. 95 equals 2. 105 equals 2. And then after that, I'm going to go to the frequency. Press the downward arrow and then you go to the frequency. Okay? Frequency is not 1. 65 is not 1. Okay? What is 65? 5. You press equals 2. 75 equals 2. 85 equals 2. 95 equals 2. 105 equals 2. Okay, now that you've put in the data, now that you have the data, you can then go and store your data. How do you store your data? You are going to press AC. Your calculator is the data, man. AC. Yeah, after putting in the data, you store the data, man. Yeah, you press AC, the calculator is. Yeah? It's not gone, it's there. Stored. Yes. It's stored. We stored the data, it's there. The only way now we are going to delete this data if you get out of the stat mode, then you remove the data. Or if you clear your calculator, then it will remove the data. But we have this data now. Or if you want to put another data, then it's going to delete this one and then put in the other one because it can't put multiple sets of data. Okay, now the question that they're asking us about this data, they say they want us to get the mean again. Now, how would you get the mean? You are going to go to. How do you get the mean, guys? You can get the mean using you can use this method. Okay? You say 65 multiplied by 5. Okay? And then you say 75 multiplied by 7. This is what we're doing here. Okay? That's one way in which you can get the mean. And then for you to get a mean, they don't care. You're going to get 2 marks here. It's 1, it's 2. If it's 3 marks, you're going to get 3 marks. Doesn't matter. Whether you did it this way or you did it using your calculator, it doesn't matter. You're still going to get exactly the same marks. Okay? Now, let's say you wanted to get the mean and then you wanted to use your calculator. You didn't want to do it this way. You felt this way was a little bit a long process. Okay? How would you do it then? You will go to your calculator and store the date. Okay? After storing the date, you will go to shift and then you press 1. Okay? If you press shift 1, then it says var. That's where you get your mean. Mean, you press option number 2. Press option number 2, what do you get? 81,4. And then if it was 2 marks, they're going to give you 2 marks, which is question number D. Let's say we're doing number 3. They wanted the standard deviation. How would you get the standard deviation? Standard deviation is this thing here. It's a 6. Where did you get this option? Go to your calculator again. You press AC again. And then you press shift and then you press 1. Where did you see this thing here? You can check all the options. If you're not sure, check all the options there. We got it on var again. And then on var is option number what? You press 3. And then you press equals to. And then it says this thing here is going to be 11, what, 96. Now, if you're not sure again, you can tell your calculator on setup to say it should round off to 2 decimal places again. You press shift, setup again. You go to fix, and then you say fix it to 2 decimal places. It says it's going to be 11, what, 96. Yes, setup. It says setup, that one. Settings. Go to settings. Shift. If you want to go to settings, you press shift and then you press mode. Shift and then you press mode. We're still fine again. So what have we managed to get with our modal class here? We'll tell them which we have. Number C, we're going to have 70 is to 8 again. And then we also have what? 80 to 90. We also have 80 to what? To 90. Okay. And then I said, let's look at the following data. If we use the following data and then we are going to determine the mean, we're going to determine the modal class, and then we're also going to estimate the what then? The standard deviation. Okay, let's do that then. The graph paper. And then on our graph paper here, we're going to draw a histogram. No? Now, how do you draw your histogram? How do you draw your histogram? You draw your histogram. Histogram is for continuous data. No? So you have between 60 and 70. No? And then you come and check what is the frequency between 60 and 70. Let's do this so that everyone can see. Let's extend this a little bit. Okay, let's check. Actually we have between 60 and 70. Okay, between 60 and 70. 60 and 70, what do we have? We have 5. Okay? So I'm going to come and say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. Between 60 and 70, I have what? I have 5. But it starts here at 60 and then it ends where at what? At 70. So I'm going to have something that looks like this. This is what we call a histogram. How we took care of it. Yeah. Now, what is the difference between a histogram and a bar graph? A bar graph, it's not continuous. This one, it's continuous. So the next one that I have 70 to 8. You know? 70 to 8, what do I have? 7, okay? You go to 7 there, and then you do something like this then. What is the next one that we have? Again, 7, okay? And then we have something that looks like this again. Sharp. Okay. What do we have? We have 90 to 100, okay? 90 to 100 is what? It's 4, no? 90 to 100, it's a 4. Okay, here it is. Sharp. And then 100 to 110 is what is 2. Okay, this is how our histogram is going to look like. And then we are done with the histogram. Okay, now that we have the histogram, then we can go and try to do the histogram of this one here. Here's your graph paper. We're going to be using the following graph paper to draw the histogram of the following data. So that is going to be our homework.